What is the RV 333 rule? Well, that's what we're talking about today. So if you're ready to learn one more rule, stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me here today. Now, I know in RV life there are so many rules out there, and in my opinion, rules are always made to be broken, but at the same time, rules can set us up for success if we follow them 90% of the time. The 333 rule can be a really useful rule on travel day. Some days we follow it to a T, other times we blow it out of the water and don't even come close to observing it, but I do think it's a great foundation for RV travel days. Let's get into what it is. As you can imagine, the 333 rule has three different components of the number 3. The first one is drive only 300 miles in a day. This is a great rule of thumb once you get in the region of your road trip destination. I know that it's so hard to abide by that if you're in the Southeast and you're looking to get to the Southwest. In those situations, sure, drive 1,000 miles a day. But once you get out there, it's great to observe the 300-mile rule because you'll drive safe, you won't drive too long, your rear end won't get uncomfortable in the driver's seat. By the time you pull up to the campsite, you won't be burnt out. 300 miles is really a sweet spot. You can get from the Grand Canyon to Sedona, maybe that's pushing it, but around that sort of mileage, and stay within the confine of that 333 rule. So 300 miles a day is the first part of the rule. The second part is arrive no later than 3 p.m. Now, whether you're driving from the Southeast to the Southwest or from Maine to California, I do think this part of the 333 rule should be observed every travel day. If you plan to arrive by 3 p.m., it'll do one of two things. It'll make you get started early in the morning, which is more productive for driving anyways because you'll be more alert. But it also gives you room for a problem that might happen on the road. If you get a flat tire, if you have to stop for any other problem, you'll have a little more room to drive during daylight hours because arriving at 3 p.m., the main goal is to arrive before the sun sets so you can get situated in your camp spot or in your just destination for that night, set up camp, and not have to stress and go into the wee hours of the evening, whether it's, for your own well-being or at a campground for your neighbor's well-being. If you love camping off-grid, we have a map of the 21 best free campsites in our humble opinion, and we want to share that map with you. You can print it up, take it out on your trip, frame it. We always have a copy of this with us, and if you want to download it, I'll put a link in the description in the comment section, free to download and print and use all the locations right there on the map. The third part of the 333 rule is stay for 3 nights. That first night you arrive definitely counts because sometimes it's hard to stay for 3 nights if you got a lot to do. But if you stay for 3 nights, that means you're going to be rejuvenated for your next travel day of 300 miles. You're going to get to see the local area. You won't be rushed to try to squeeze everything in one day and then go on to your next destination. It'll give you time to eat at the local restaurants, go on a local hike. Now, obviously, again, if you're driving across the country, you got to break that part of the rule. But once you get to the region that your travels are going to be focused on, try to stay for 3 nights because that can really make you see something more like a local and less like a tourist. Now, there is a bonus part of the 333 rule. It could be called the 3333 rule, but that just gets a little too redundant. But the fourth part of the 333 rule is stop at least every 3 hours during travel day. And again, this one can really apply no matter how many miles you have to cover, and maybe even more so if you're covering a lot of ground in one day. Stopping every 3 hours is about the time where you can top off your tank with gasoline. You can go relieve yourself, get a little snack at the gas station, stop at the rest stop, and just get out and stretch for a little while. Stopping every 3 hours might be the most important part of this whole 3333 rule, but it just makes you not get cramped up in a seat. It lets you go have a break, and it makes sure you stay cognitively optimized whenever you're out there towing a heavy RV around, because it's dangerous out there on the roads, not just maybe towing your own setup, but also dodging all the big semi trucks and all the reckless drivers out there. A travel day is obviously one of the most stressful days of any RV trip. Following the 333 rule can help you out Obviously, like I said, rules are meant to be broken. Getting across the country, we've done it in long hauls in one day, and it's definitely a way to do it. Not enjoyable, but it gets the job done. But once you have the time to slow down a bit, try to observe that 3-3-3 rule and just make the RV adventure a little slower, a little more enjoyable, live like a local, have time to decompress, and then get back and make those big miles on the interstate when you're going home. Let me know what you think about the 3-3-3 rule. And don't forget, download that map of the 21 best free campsites in America, completely free. It'll lead you to our favorite sites out there that don't cost a penny. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Later on.